Alright, so I just bought this sketchbook not too long ago, and I have about up until the end of May, which is, by the time of this recording, 2 months away from now, to finish this sketchbook if I want this to be showcased in a local gallery art show. So I figured, why not use some of that time to show you 3 tips on how I fill up my sketchbooks. Let's go. By the way, this is Paulie. Alright, so you wouldn't believe it, but tip number 1 is to just start drawing. Just start free drawing, you know? Now, I know. That's the best you got, Paulie? Really? That's your number 1 advice? To just start drawing? Just do it? Like the meme? Come on now, man. I know. It's like the most obvious thing I could say. But I think it helps, you know? Oftentimes the simple answer is the most correct one, right? Occam's razor, something like that. But yeah, tip number 1 is just to get started. So one of my biggest things that I like to preach, if you will, on this channel is failing is a part of the process, and it's super integral towards our growth. For the longest time as a young artist, I would be really scared to fail, especially with like comic book making and just, you know, creating the pieces that I wanted to create. And so I've learned though, by a lot of YouTube research and, you know, just a lot of living, you know, within this art world, is just to start failing. So the quicker we get to just drawing, the quicker we get to failing, the quicker we get to starting the sketchbook, is quicker it's completed, right? We don't have to always be so precious with our sketchbooks, you know. These are little like playgrounds. This is a little training ground in which we get to grow in, you know, with our art skills. So why not make the most of it and fail as much as we can before we get out into the real world and they expect us to, you know, to create some zingers, you know, create some baller pieces. Just try and get the necessary skills to do that while we have the time, right? The quicker you start, the quicker you're drawing and failing, quicker you can learn what it is that you need to improve upon and what you need to studying and practicing. And so you can see here, this right here, I did this sketch first, got through half of it, and then I did this little composition to try and figure out the rest of the pose. Wasn't too happy with that hand, but you know, I wouldn't know where to start or, you know, what to improve upon if I didn't do this like freeform sketch, you know? So I know I gotta practice doing that kind of hand gesture, or like, you know, looking at references for that gesture and, you know, just figuring out how to properly, you know, draw hands like that. Which kind of leads me to tip number 2, which is doing challenges. Now, as you may have guessed from my explaining the 1 challenge canvas video, I'm a huge fan of Ahmed Al-Douri and what he's done for the community, and just like his YouTube channel, all the tips and tricks that he's, you know, provided on his channel, as well as like the guests like Stephen Zapata, which is another one of my favorite art YouTubers here on YouTube. But he's also started a bunch of art challenges here on YouTube that have seen, you know, so many beginners start, you know, even more advanced artists start. And so with me being a fan of his work and his channel, I've attempted many of his challenges, such as like the 100 heads, the 50 heads, and especially the 100 hands a couple of times. I've filled many sketchbooks just practicing how to draw my hand, drawing other hands, and just getting a lot of mileage with drawing the hand. So, you know, there's plenty of challenges out there on YouTube, or even just on the internet. You know, we got the Inktober challenges, the Mermaid, Huevember, which is fun. Just all these different challenges that you can, you know, fill up your sketchbook with. You could take prompts from any other challenge and just draw whatever, you know. That's another little idea generator for filling up a page in sketchbook. You could even, you know, self-designate your own little challenge, as I did, just to help you improve upon what you specifically need improving upon. So real quick, a little bonus tip for you. So I love collecting these like weird multicolor pens. They got these multicolor pens that come in all types of different shapes and sizes and different patterns. So I figured this would be a good little stop to add the bonus tip, which is to get creative and have fun with new art materials. Like I said, sketchbooks are for playing, so go ahead and play. Why not use that new art supplies that you picked up from the store? Or if you've been wanting to get better at brush pens, why not get better at it, right? Try it out in the sketchbook. I know I've been wanting to get better at my ink work. But yeah, it all goes back to this lesson here. Don't be precious with your art materials, and your sketchbook is one of those art materials. So play as much as you can. All right, and so before we get to the third and final tip or little trick that I use to help me complete a sketchbook, just want to give you guys the verse of the day. Here's the verse of the day. There we are. All right, let's get to it. So tip number 3 is using your sketchbook as a diary / journal. I use my sketchbooks as like a means of, charting out my ideas for future projects, but also I take my sketchbook everywhere I go. One of the best ways I've made the most out of my sketchbooks have been recording small little moments while I'm outside or at events. Like just a couple days ago, my wife and I were at my cousin-in-law's gender reveal. And so we went out there to set up and help and everything like that. And I took my sketchbook with me so that, in between the moments, I can just sketch and draw and just have fun. After a bunch of drawing that day, my wife's grandpa had picked up the sketchbook and was flipping through it, right? And he was looking around, he was looking at all the pages, and then he finally looked up at me. He was like, "Where are we at? Where's your family?" And so I thought that moment was awesome. And so I was like, "I got you, Grandpa. I'm gonna draw you." And so that's what I did. I drew my grandpa, and now I got that little story to tell whenever I'm sharing this sketchbook to people who are interested in hearing like the different, like, why did you draw that portrait or whatever else, So that's just a small little taste of the power in which carrying a sketchbook with you can bring, Just capturing and recording these little moments will help you remember them better, but also just help you fill up the sketchbook faster, right? That's what we're here to do. And obviously you can take your sketchbook anywhere. You can take it to your favorite library, cafe, or your favorite nature trail that you may jog or walk in, just recording what's around you, recording your daily life, your schedule. Sometimes I even write in my sketchbooks the verse that I read that day, or just like an epiphany of reading the scriptures that I've maybe come to, and just I wanted to record in the sketchbook. There are no laws or rules or anything to filling up a sketchbook, it's your sketchbook. You can either choose to share it or you can just choose to keep it to yourself. But the goal is to fill it. We want every page in between the first and the last to be filled. So that's the goal, No paper wasted. So with that being said, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. And if you did, I just so happen to have a video capturing how I took the doodles out of this sketchbook and made a comic book out of it. So check out that video right here if you want to check out the process of how I did that. But in the meantime, catch you guys in the next one. God bless.